slide not advance. There we go. Hey everyone, my name is Kimberly Pierce and I'm an engineering customer consultant here at Elsevier. And I have a background in conservation and policy as well as in geospatial science. And I've had a pretty varied background prior to coming to Elsevier, working both for the United Nations, focusing on human and women's rights, and as a researcher focused on utilizing GIS systems to track and predict vulnerabilities within coastal communities due to climate change. And here at Elsevier, I've been involved in women in STEM and engineering employee council initiatives, as well as helping to develop a set of basic best practices for user engagement. And one of my favorite parts about this job is getting to know about how libraries are implementing and utilizing makerspaces and some of the innovative ways that students are finding to use our various platforms. And in my free time, I'm liking to get outdoors and in nature, and I'm a beginner potter. And so now that you know a little bit about me, what I'm going to do is take you through Geofacets so you can get to know a little bit more about Geofacets for academia. So in this demo, it's designed to get you familiar with Geofacets as a tool for academic needs. We're going to start with a really brief PowerPoint to provide you with an overview of how academics can benefit from Geofacets and the different types of content that are available within the platform. So we're going to do that first, and then we're only going to be reviewing one potential case study in this session and remaining primarily within the platform just because of time constraints. But I highly suggest that you take a look within the content and then play around with a lot of the integration features on your own following today's session. So your customer consultants and I are always available for personalized training and a little bit more of an in-depth discussion of the topics that you might be interested in. So if that's something that you want to do following today's session, please just reach out and we can always set that up via request. So as we start in the platform, the demo might feel like a little bit overly basic, and part of this is because it is a basic intro, but also Geofacets is just very easy and intuitive, and you'll see that as we're going along. So you'll be able to get right into it on your own. And then as a reminder, if you have any questions as we progress, just pop them into the chat. So Geofacets, basically what it is it's a platform that enables geoscience researchers to work smarter and faster, and does this by making it easy to find the maps, the figures, and the tables that are sourced from different trusted publications. And this helps users at your institution meet and exceed your publishing and funding goals. So researchers are not only informing their papers, but they're staying up to date on some of the latest published information. And Geofacets, it helps students quickly get up to speed about earth science, no matter their discipline, by providing this information for research papers or their theses, and providing scientific backup for different hypotheses they're maybe trying to work through. But you're also going to help faculty facilitate a hands-on learning outside the classroom, and maybe if they're going on in the field or doing remote field trips. So it's in short a solution that's empowering research and exploration by providing this validated information, maps, and geologic data. And here you're going to see just a few of the content providers that we're partnering with. And if you ever are going through the platform and there's an additional content that you'd like to see, or publishers that you'd like to see us include in the platform, just pop us an email. Don't be shy about it. Just let us know, and we'll see what we can do to make that possible for you. And Geofacets is cloud-based, so it is accessible through your school's IP, email address, or your library page. And if you're unsure currently how you access that platform, please just contact us directly. Or if you're a student, please reach out to your library. And then we can assist you on getting that information and making sure that you have the access set up the way you need it. And some of the content available you'll see here in the purple circles in the middle: maps, shapefiles, Excel compatible data tables, photos, stratigraphic columns, plots and graphs. And we're adding to this content monthly, so you're always able to stay up to date. But that's all well and good. How is this helpful for academia? And that's why I'm assuming you're all here today. There's a few ways. Geofacets is really putting information and data right at the fingertips of faculty and students. So it's cutting that research time in half and allowing your institution to publish faster and compete more effectively for grants. And I think, that's something that's always main on everyone's thoughts. More importantly though, Geofacets is preparing students to use a platform that they can expect to use in their careers. So this is really a good addition to their resumes, being able to use a platform such as Geofacets. We partner here, we have a lot of corporations that have subscriptions to Geofacets, and not just companies that are involved with oil and gas. In addition to oil and gas companies, we have corporate subscribers who are focused on mining, environmental sciences, and et cetera. You'll notice here on this busy graphic, there's quite a few different departments that align with content that's currently within Geofacets. So, geology and geophysics, environmental sciences, earth sciences, GIS and geography. So this will be something to keep in mind when you're thinking, is this like something that's right for me in my school? Geofacets can also be used to prepare for any field excursions that you might be planning so that you're arriving prepared and ready to maximize your time in the field. And it also is enable you to take a virtual field trip when you're unable to physically visit that site, which is a growing problem, I think, for most labs right now. So I encourage you all to check out the recent webinar that we had regarding virtual field trips, and that's on our Bright Talk page. And in that webinar, Sandra Merton, who is our Senior Product Manager for Geofacets, she walks you through how to use Google Earth integrations and how to visualize a field site. And it's really pretty neat stuff. And unfortunately, we don't have time to go through something like that today. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check out that webinar. And for academics, Geofacets can just be a really great tool for hands-on learning, especially in the remote environment that we're all currently in. And it provides a range of informational needs, whether you're working with undergraduates or experienced researchers. So I think this is like just a good summary of the benefits that you would be getting for academia. In regards to information, I think too often students are using unreliable sources like Google and Wikipedia and using that when they're looking for data and information. And Geofacets kind of takes that component away because it's aggregating content only from these reliable sources that have been strictly vetted. And that's allowing you to research with confidence. And in Geofacets, the team has already accessed this content, assessed it for their geological and geographical attributes, indexed it, created that metadata, and created the downloadable versions of it for you to use. So it's, again, saving you that time to publishing, and it's basically like having another set of hands within your labs. But most importantly, Geofacets is full text, so you'll be able to get a read-only PDF right there in the platform. And if you subscribe to any journals, you can set up a link to that content to get a downloadable PDF, and then you can get additional data insights and metrics through your library. Content within Geofacets, excuse me, can also be integrated with a number of third-party platforms. And so this image here on the right, it summarizes the different file types that are available for integration. ArcGIS is one of our most popular integrations that's available. It does require a plugin download, which if you've used the platform before, you've likely received a prompt to download it. If not, I can show you where to find it. But the integration capabilities allow content to easily be analyzed in different GIS platforms, such as ArcGIS and Google Earth, and for data to be manipulated in Excel. And you can, export citations as well. So if you're using reference managers, you can take those citations into those reference managers directly from the GIS platform, the Geofacets platform, excuse me. So you can utilize various integrations to support field trips and different plannings in addition to your traditional studies and research. So enough of the PowerPoint. What we'll do now is get into the actual live demo. And what we'll do is a really simple sample search for information on climate change within the Arctic. And this should give you just an overview of what is possible within the platform and an idea of where you can begin getting started investigating your own interest. In this example, what we're going to investigate is the question, is there evidence of climate change based on glacier melting in the Arctic region? And while this exercise we're going to do is very simple and strictly to delineate how we'd go about doing something like this, if we were going to be utilizing something like this in the real world, we could use the information that we're finding for a number of different purposes. So we could, build a case study. We could build a case for writing a grant proposal. We could do, we could find peer-reviewed sources for a project. We could integrate some findings into a proprietary analysis, or, find data to back up a grant proposal. So if there's other ways that you currently use Geofacets, or as we're going along in the demo, if you can think of another way that you'd want to see Geofacets used or would use it in your own, let me know. I'm always curious about creative applications people are using Geofacets for. So don't be shy, pop it in the chat. Be fun to, if we have time at the end, chat about how you're using it. So without further ado, let me pull up the Geofacets homepage here. Okay, so this is when you come into Geofacets, this is what you're gonna first see. If you aren't a registered user, you'll see the options to register over here. So I'm already registered and I'm logged in, which is why it shows my name instead. But that's where you'll find that if you're looking for it. Also, where it says ArcGIS plugin, if you're looking for that, if you click there, it'll prompt you for which one you need to download if you're looking for ArcPro or ArcMap. You'll also notice along the top here that there's a couple different ways that you can search. Today, we're actually just going to do a very simple keyword search, but if you wanted, you could do a rectangle search and just draw, or a polygon search, it's the same. And you could also do an advanced search, which is one of the newer features in this updated user interface, where you could go ahead and build a complex query by selecting like a different combination of search options. And this would be helpful if you had a very limited scope of interest, or you wanted to limit different terms and based on location or time scale, and you didn't really want to explore analogs, but we're not going to do that today either. This is also, if you are interested in any sort of overlay, this is something that often goes overlooked here. Whoops, you click here. So this are different overlays that you can add to your base map. So if I wanted to just explore this one, because we're going to be exploring the Arctic Ocean really quick. So this is overlays based on cores drilled by the International Ocean Discovery Program. And I can turn these on or off by just, clicking this data. Now, if I clicked out to this learn more while that's populating, it's going to pop me into this support page. And this support page will give me more information, and it will also link me out to the page for the International Ocean Discovery Program, so I can find out more about where this data is coming from and what they're up to and what they're doing. So that's what that's about here. Whoops, it seems to have stalled. Oh, I'm just going to clear all these overlays because I don't need them. We don't need to see it, so we'll just take those off. And then if you do want to get into the support page for another topic, that's here along this help. So let's just keep going because of time. So what we'll do is we'll just start it's spelling Arctic correctly. So if we wanted to start with the Arctic Ocean, we could go ahead and we'll just start looking there. I apologize for my slow internet connection. So you'll see here, we get a lot of results, and this would be way too much for us to parse through. And you can see these blue circles are actually just showing different clusters of data that mention the Arctic Ocean. So we know that we're looking for climate change, and we know that we're looking for melting and things like that. So what we were going to do is we're going to add information. So one thing I want you to just notice is as we're going along and I'm adding terms, up here it's starting to build the query for us. So if I wanted to, as we're going along, change my search at any point, I could go ahead and without having to start a new search, I could, X something out and change my search just from the string that develops as we search. So what I want to do now is I'm going to limit by a subject. So I have meteorology and climatology here. So I'm just going to go ahead and include that. And you see it really cuts down my results and it builds out that query that I was just mentioning to you. Okay. And so now I know that I know exactly what I want. I want perennial melt. So I'm looking for glaciers. So I'm going to do perennial melt. And I want to include that. And this is something I can definitely get behind. So now from thousands and thousands of documents, I've gotten down to 14. Well, I've gotten down to 3 documents and 14 results that I can parse through. So this is something I can actually, get through in a day. If I wanted, I could further refine by, limiting to graphs or just the maps or just tables, but I'm going to leave that for now and just look here. And you'll notice that as I'm like rolling over this information, before I even get into my results, that I'm seeing information change on this map. So in the corner here, I'm able to see the publisher. And you'll see also on the map, it's pinned, it's brought up where this is referencing. So if I want to save that information and I want to be able to visualize this on my map, I could go ahead and I can pin that data on my map. So when I'm using these sources later, I can go ahead and save that and be able to visualize all of the articles I've saved. So I could also from here, if I wanted, go ahead and start reading this or save it, which I'm not going to do because I'm going to show you how to do this from the main view. And I can click out and view this either at the publisher or if I'm a subscriber, click into it at the library page, or I can just go ahead and download it. So there's a lot that you can do from these main pages here. This is also where I could go ahead and see my source documents. So well, now that we're on this page, I might as well just show you this now. So if I decide after I've read all of these papers, for example, that I want to save these and download these into a reference manager, and let's say I just want these 2 instead of all 3 of these, I could go ahead and download these 2 resources, and I can do the selected only, and I can either save, the citation information or the citation and abstract information. And I could, save it to an Excel, or I could put it into my reference manager. I don't have a reference manager currently on my computer, so I'm not going to download this. I'll just get an error. But this is how you could get that information into your EndNote or other reference manager if you so desired. But we're not going to do that just now. So I'm going to go back to this result, and I'm just going to show you really quickly. So if I click into this, from here, it's going to, so you'll see how it's highlighted all of the terms I've searched. It's also showing me what else is available within this particular article. So if this is an article that I'm thinking, I'm interested in this particular graph, this is piquing my interest, I can go ahead, I can read this abstract. Okay, if I'm, further interested and I'm not sure if I'm super interested, I can go ahead and read this just right here in this read-only article viewer. And so I can take a look, read through the whole full text document, and you'll see it is even in full color. And so as a subscriber, I can even view this online at the publisher. And this is where I'd be able to get the downloadable PDF and additional metrics on citations and school-specific information if I so wanted. So there's a lot that you can go ahead and do in regards to this. If you didn't have access through your school, this is also where you could go ahead and purchase this one off if you really needed it. One thing that is also really important on this page is the permissions tab. So let's say that you are wanting to write about your research on a blog, for example, talking about how your research is going and you want to include this reference, or you're just curious if you can use this paper for a grant or some sort of posting that you're doing. If you click this permissions page, it's going to bring you to this notice and you click the terms and conditions. And this is going to give you the permissions for this specific piece. So every document that you're getting within Geofacets has the permissions for that publisher and this piece written out. So you don't have to go hunting around for whether or not you can use it. All that information regarding the copyrights, the indemnification, so forth and so on is right here. So easy to find, easy to save. You know right away what you can do with this article and this data once you've gotten it. So I'm looking at it. This is definitely something I want to keep. What I can do is I can go ahead and download this, and you'll see that there's different download options. So I can save it as a TIFF or end the citation or just the TIFF. So I could go ahead and download that if I'm so inclined. I could go ahead and add it to my list, which is basically a way to save it. So I have a training folder set up, or I could even add a new list. I'm going to save it to my list Arctic. Great. And this is also where if I wanted, I could, find additional content here. And so I've already gone, just for time's sake, you'll see here that there's this information and we see this table showing up within this article. So you'll see this is how it appears. In Geofacets, they've translated the data showing up from a table within the piece into this downloadable version that can be made into an Excel spreadsheet. And this is useful because you can do things such as this. So for my purposes in exploring this instance of, is there evidence for climate change, what I could do is I could take the data from this article, take it right out of the website. It comes from this download link into Excel. And from Excel, I then manipulated it into this graph. And this, this example shows changes in ice cover based on the mean value. And so Geofacets here has saved me time and, the possibility of incorrectly hand dictating this table. So obviously this is only one step in the research and data collection process, but it's just really highlighting how you can find more than just maps within this platform to start building out your informational needs. So, I could also just further download this and manipulate it and analyze it in ArcGIS if I wanted. And then as a reminder, you could also take this a step further and go and look at this in the virtual field trips if you wanted. So with the saved content, I know we're coming up on time, so let me just quickly take you back here. I could also, from this main page, if I really liked these results, go ahead and set an alert for myself. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Kimberly, thank you so much for driving us through that. It's such a powerful tool for students and researchers alike. And I know that we're getting really close on time here. And I wanted to see if we might go ahead and take a quick poll to understand if folks found this session useful today. I think we could keep going for sure, but let's see how folks are feeling. The poll has been posted. We'd like to find out if you found this session useful, of course, and then are you more likely to use Geofacets after this session? And the answers are rolling in. Okay. I think we're going to end that. We have folks that want more information, Kimberly, which is fantastic. So I think I'm definitely going to be doing this again. But with that said, I want to thank you all for attending this webinar session. We'll be holding these each Wednesday and Thursday at this time. And the next week, our session is on Wednesday, June 10th. It's Engineering Village 201, Finding and Using Competitive Intelligence. And on Thursday of next week, June 11th, Engineering Village, Quick Tips and Search Strategies. If you would like more information or an invitation to that session, please feel free to reach out to your customer consultant. If you don't know who your Elsevier contact is, please send me an email at k.berglund@elsevier.com. My email is also included on the main screen here, as well as Kimberly's. And indeed, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from all of you. Take care.
Yes, thank you.